Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. Okay, I got the GoPro 5, so I don't have the extreme wide angle. I'm not sure where I put my friggin' holder for my GoPro, so I think it's downstairs. But anyway, I did my first gig in a long time yesterday, and disaster struck. And not in the way you'd think. It was a good disaster, and we made it work. Anyway, what I did is I took out my two favorite guitars, my SG61 reissue, favorite guitar of all time, and I brought up my Fender Hot Rod amp. We will be talking about you. And of course, my less than 2 years old Mark Holcomb 7 string. So that was the first time performing. I can't really say it was a stage because it was kind of like I was on the ground. So, but we'll call it the first time on stage or first time performing with the 7 string live. It was interesting. You can watch the videos. You might like it, you might not. It's nothing really spectacular, but I'll explain the gig and everything like that. So my friend Amanda, you seen her on the channel in my Light of Hope project section where her and I did a bunch of songs, acoustic songs together during the big world event of 2020. I'll just say that. And her and I did a bunch of songs together. But she has an antique shop, and every year she has like I call it a job fair. It's not a job fair. It's like a vendors, like local businesses setting up vendors, and they sell arts and crafts and fun junk like that, right? It's preservatives. There's all kinds of stuff. They have a little bit of a barbecue going, whatever. So me and this guy named Brian, the guy with the big blue horse, which unfortunately I didn't have the camera set up at the right angle, so you can't really see. You can see the horse's butt and a part of his ear, but you can't see the actual big blue horse in the back of the truck, which is too bad. And yeah, I started the show, and I was heckled by a 7-year-old with a trumpet. So Hunter was having a good time. We'll just say that there. It's like this show, but it shows my musicianship. How okay, you got a little 7-year-old blowing a trumpet around you, and I'm still playing. It's like, nah, you ain't gonna shake me off my game. But anyway, so my disaster struck in a couple of different ways. This is kind of like the worst prepared I think I've ever been for a gig. Because the details and how we were going to do this and everything wasn't worked out, which was kind of mistake one. So a couple of months ago, I did baby photos for Melissa, which I got to meet little Fern yesterday too, so that was cool. I sang him a song. I sang the little, he's only a month old, and I sang him a song. And basically what happened was that Amanda said, I'm going to have a thing at my shop and live music and, definitely show up, bring your 12-string, whatever. So I thought, yeah, of course, support a friend, support local community, stuff like that. Of course I'm going to do it, right? And then she told me about Brian with the, he does like Johnny Cash impersonations and stuff like that. And we'll talk about Brian in a moment, because I think he had a hell of a time yesterday. He was just like, wow. Like, he was kind of like... it was his system that we were using, which is a pretty good system, but we had a couple of little hiccups and, like little gremlins here and there and whatever. So I'll talk about the things that went right and the things that didn't go right. All in all, the show was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I pretty much stole the show. I'll explain why, maybe not in this video, but anyway. So what happens is we agreed to have the show, and I talked to Brian, but Brian's like me, he's working all the time and whatever. We just couldn't seem to, get lined up, and I didn't get enough material from him to really practice. So I only got like maybe about 5 or 6 songs from him or whatever it was. And the problem was that wasn't gonna, like we were there from 9:30. Like I was only going to play 3 hours. I ended up playing 5 hours, which is this guitar. Just so you know, if you're wondering, that guitar stayed in tune 5 hours straight. Well, mind you, I played it maybe about 2.5 hours out of the 5. So that guitar, I don't know why Gibsons don't stay in tune. They don't. That guitar, I was okay to go out when I was, detuning it down to drop D, and then whatever if I didn't put it right back to where it was. But the guitar itself, that guitar stays in tune just fine. I've never had problems with Gibson staying in tune. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do get it. It has something to do with the tail piece that a lot of people don't. If they don't adjust them right, your guitar will never stay in tune. But anyway, so I did most of the show with the SG, and I was only going to bring out the 7-string, but I said, nah, I'm going to have fun. I also brought out the bass, and yes, I did play the bass just by itself. I brought it out. I'm playing the damn thing. But when we got there, the first thing that we noticed was I had an interesting morning going out there. I seen a guy smoke a deer with his truck there. Man, you should have heard the crack off of that thing. I was driving the other way in the fog. So I got there early, but we didn't know where the power source was. So that was first mistake. Yeah, so the first mistake was we didn't know where the power source was when we got there. So that, from the setup point of view, that was the first mistake. The biggest mistake is we didn't know what we were going to play. I knew what I was going to be playing. But even at that, I had about 3 hours worth of music by myself, but I don't think I had it down perfectly. There's a few things we'll talk about. So the first thing was we didn't know where our power source was going to be coming from, whether we're going to be running off a generator or what. So that was the first problem. Then tragedy struck. Tune into part 2 for this one.